Hi class, we are going to talk about programming style. When I think about who I want to hire as a programmer, um, of course I want them to have or share the same vision, want to help me to succeed, write very efficient, bug-free code. Their code are easy to understand and well documented in that order, because if the it's logical difficult to follow what they write, and they have to use document to compensate for that lack of logic, it's less preferable, definitely, right? It is like if you write a book, if the book is all over the place, no matter how well your written words are, if they are not organized, it's difficult for me to understand and basically get your message across to me. I want to hire someone who work well with other people, who can communicate with other people, because no big projects are going to be done by one person. Um, Good work ethics and professionalism, of course, like being responsible, um, on time, and so on. So why do we want to have good programming style? I know I talk about this probably a lot, but it's really, really important because you want to be able to develop, debug, and maintain your code easier. Um, the better you have that programming style and start from the beginning, um, down the road is actually easier for you in many ways, and it will be easier for your colleagues to help you to maybe later on pick up your code, and also for your professor to help you to debug or look at if you have any problems. Work well with others also mean that when you write your code, you want to be thinking ahead that, hey, later on someone else is going to look at it. How do I make it easy for them to understand? It's actually a kind of communication skill as well. Three major considerations. They are naming, how you name the variables and the constants, how you write the commands, and how you indent, tab, and using space to make your program easier to understand. For naming convention, we talk about using capital letters for constants. I would prefer you use this style. So this style is actually called snake case, using the underscore to chain the words together instead of like the camel case, which has the capital letter to be used as like a space. That you can actually see an example here. So the snake case, it's more really for C++ programmers. That's what most, or it's more traditionally, that's what we use. Camel case is used in other programming languages like Java, and so on. I think try to use this because in the industry a lot of people are using it to develop C++, so why not for you, right? Right now I would say not to use the underscore to start a variable for now, because it will be used later for other purposes. Some words are reserved. We didn't talk about it in particular, but you will see that your program wouldn't run if you use those keywords. But you have encountered them already. For example, the main, cout, cin, nl, return. You've seen all of those. If you are interested in what is reserved, you can see Appendix 1. For comments, I think I probably have talked about comments a lot, and I'm going to probably repeat it in the class because for me it's the uttermost important thing besides writing good code. I like to use comments to outline my program and use it like a table of content. I actually think about the logic of my program first. Right now you're not seeing me doing it because the programs that we are doing right now are pretty simple. But later on when we do more complicated program, I will show you how I do it. For now, do some simple outline like we show you in the class earlier. I like my comments to be complementary to the code and not saying what the code is doing unless if the code is actually not easy to comprehend right when you look at it, a few lines. I don't like to write a lot of the comments unless if I'm trying to figure out something how I want to do it. I might actually write it like I'm drafting I put some ideas in there before I actually code. Here I actually say that write the comments for yourself first and then we change the code for others later. Sometimes when the program is pretty complicated, I would do it that way because I need to understand how it works first, and then later on I might streamline it so that other people can understand the code better. Indent, tab, and spaces are actually important to make the code easier to understand. So we are going to take a look at an example. So this is a program that you might feel familiar, and I'm going to make it maybe bigger for you to see. So this is actually our last homework assignment. So those of you, if you are watching videos right now before the assignment is due, lucky for you in some way. Actually, this program is not completely correct at this point. So I just want to show you how I would make this part, the calculations, easier to understand. Because right now it's not indented properly, the spacing, the curly braces. So to clean it up, I probably would get rid of the extra lines. Here, this is okay to understand, but I might add some comments. Let's see. So for me, I like to make the if statement just in one line with the condition. And then I would actually make the else in its own line also. And then I will use tab to make them align so that, okay, if the hours worked is smaller than or equal to 40, I will just calculate the gross pay directly. If it's bigger than 40, and if you need it, you can always just add some comments to help yourself to understand the code. Okay, so if the hours work is larger than 40, then I will calculate the overtime pay and then the regular pay, and then you see if we almost missed one line of code, right? So the gross pay is equal to the regular pay plus the overtime pay. Then here we would calculate the taxes and the net pay. You can highlight both lines and do tab. They would tab together. Add a tab in front. So now this I consider easy to read, way more than when we started. I might add some comments to just say that this is calculation of, or maybe just add here, right? So this is for gross, and then this is for taxes. But this is maybe too much now. So I will do it this way so that it's easier to understand, but you will have your own style. Now let's go next to the data types and expression.